It's back to school season, so you've probably heard a lot of people say the phrase, you need to build relationships with your students, which is 1000% true. But if you're hearing that and you're here because you're an elementary music teacher, you might be thinking, I have 700 children. How do I actually do that? Because, you know, there's not enough time in the day to like spend quality time one-on-one with 700 children. So in this video, we're gonna talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 7. We're gonna talk about 7 different things that you can do that are like actual practical things you can do in order to build relationships with your students, even if you have like 7,000 of them. So let's jump right on in because we don't need anything, no further ado. So number 1 is names. You need to learn the kids' names. You need to use the kids' names. I know that's super intimidating because again, you're here because you're like, oh my gosh, I have so many children. I know, but it just is like, you gotta know their names. I really, like, I believed this before, but this summer I did summer camp and it was like with a bunch of kids I didn't know, and I only saw them for 30 minutes once a week. And so by the time the next week gets here, I've already forgotten who everybody is. And I will tell you, it is so much harder than my school where I have, you know, 600 or 700 kids, but I know them all. Like, it is so much easier when you know the kids' names, because 1, you can actually talk to them with their name. 2, you can call them and they know who you're talking about. 3, they know you know who you are, which is the key to relationships, is they know who you are. It's like that Friends episode. They know you know, all the things.
They don't know that we know they know we know.
So in order to learn names, a couple little hacks. I think I have a whole video about learning names quickly, so I will link that down below. But just quickly, use a seating chart so that you can cheat. And play lots of name games at the beginning of the year, and make sure you call their names as much as possible. Like, use their names as much as humanly possible so that you get used to associating that name with that student. Number 2 is learn more about your kiddos. Now, this is again hard when you're in a huge environment. You might have 30 kids in your classes. That's kind of a lot. So what do you do in that case? Well, there's a lot of things you can do at whole group that will help. So I'm thinking you can do like this or that kind of games. Those are really fun. I prefer actually stand up or sit down, which is pretty much the same thing, but a little bit different. The way that we do this is that I'll put 2 things up on the board, and you stand up if you associate with one and you sit with the other. So I might say stand up if you prefer pop music, sit down if you prefer rap music. Okay, and then you can easily see kind of the trends. You're probably not going to remember every single student and every single answer that they had, but you will remember like kind of the gist of it, and it also will lead you into some conversations. Like, I might, like, one of them, usually I'll ask if they have any pets, and so then we can talk about what kind of pets they have. And so it's just, you know, fun little things like that where you can get to know them a little better. I like to stand up and sit down because then they're moving along with this, so it also helps get some of the wiggles out. Question prompts. So this is something I have in my TPT shop. I'll link it down below. I have like a music version and then like a non-music version that you can use, you know, that aren't all music related. And so these are basically just questions that you can ask your students to help build relationships. Typically during the first month, I will try to ask a couple of these questions. I might ask 3, and I might have a couple kids answer. I might have everybody answer 1 question. I might have you like write it down on a sticky note and turn it in or something like that. But it's just a quick way to learn a little bit more about your kiddos. And the next one is the song Agua de Limones. I will link a whole video about this one down below, but I love this song. Super cute, and it's got a game, which is what we're getting to. So it goes, Agua de limones, vamos a jugar, y el que quede solo, solo quedará. So in this song, what happens is at the end of the song, somebody's supposed to call it a category, and you categorize yourselves by that category. So if they say like shirt color, then you go find all the people who are wearing blue shirts, and you all stand together, and all the pink shirts are together, all the orange shirts. We have a uniform, so it would just be like green and white and Miss Davis. But anyway, I like to do this, and I actually have in my Google Slides in my TPT shop, which I will link down below, the whole like song translation, how to like teach it and all of that. But I also have a whole section where they're pre-made categories for you. So on there, it'll say things like getting categories by type of pets. So everybody who has a dog comes over here, and everyone who has a cat goes over here. And then it'll say like shoe color, and some will just be numbers. So it'll be like getting 4s or getting 5s or however many, just to switch it up. And that way you get to learn a lot about the kiddos, and they get to learn a lot about you, which is really fun. So really cute, really fun. I'll link that one down below so you can check that out. Number 3 is give the kids chances to shine. If you let them get involved in the lesson, they're going to feel more involved in the lesson, obviously, because they are more involved in the lesson, but they're also going to feel a stronger relationship with you, and you're gonna get to know the kids a lot better. And you know, there's some kids who just need to have some time in the spotlight. And so if you give them that time, then they won't take it from you in other ways. So 2 of my favorite things to do with that one for beginning of the year, one for older kids, one for younger. With older kids, I love the chant that goes jump in, jump out, and turn yourself around. I said jump in, jump out, and introduce yourself. And then the kids say their name, something they like, and something they can do that we can all do. So for example, it would be like, my name's Miss Davis, and then all the kids go, yeah. And I like ice cream, yeah. And I can snap, yeah. And then we all go, all right, all right, all right. And then we go back into it. And that way kids get the opportunity to come up to the front or go to the middle, and they get to, you know, tell a little bit about themselves and just have a little bit of fun. For 2nd and 3rd grade kind of age, I like the song Mama Llama. It's so cute. I'll link it down below because the words are insane. We do, on the first part, we do tap down, and then you're supposed to tap to the sides. But if that's an issue, then you can just do tap down, tap up, because, you know, touching is still weird. But it goes, Mama Llama, Kuma La Pizza. Mama Llama, Kuma La Pizza. Oh, no, 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 la pizza. Oh, no, 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 la pizza. Any, many, dix, a penny, oompa, a loompa, lanny, okeechobee, ava, wachi, x, y, z. And on that last part, the any, many, dix, a penny, that part, you have one student come to the middle of the circle or the front of the room, and they get to choose the actions we all do. So they just do like, you know, crazy however they want to do it, and we all follow them, and then we go back. So that's one of my favorites for 2nd and 3rd grade, to like really get them involved at the beginning of the year. Really cute, really fun, and I'll link it down below because it's a lot of words, so you will need that. Number 4 is kind of obvious, and that is just talk to the students. Like, talk to them as though they're humans, because you know what? They are humans, and the more you remember that, even though it's hard sometimes, the more you are able to build relationships with them, and the better your relationships will be. So make sure that you remember that they are indeed humans, and talk to them. Talk to them about things that have nothing to do with music, that have nothing to do with school. If we see them in the hallways and they're, you know, not supposed to be in line and quiet, but like in the morning, I stand in the front and the kids come in, and I just, you know, like greet them as they come get their breakfast and make sure they know where they're going. And it's an excellent way to just say hello to everybody, and they come up and give me hugs, and my principal's always like, everybody loves Miss Davis. And I'm like, well, yes, it's because I actually talk to the children and I actually like them. So, you know, it makes a big difference. So I, you know, take advantage of that to talk to the kids. Not all of them are going to want to talk to you, but those who do, like, do really, you know, take advantage of that. Number 5 is a little more for the kids than it is for you, and that is have a really consistent demeanor. If you are consistent in how you present yourself, then the students have an easier time getting to know you. And when the kids only see you once a week for, you know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever, then it's really important that they feel they know who you are, and they feel that they know what to expect. Because if some days they come in and you're like all fluffy and fun, and other days they come in and you're like super, super, super strict, then they're gonna be like, I don't know what's up with this lady, I don't know what to do, and it's just weird. So make sure that you are very consistent in your demeanor. I kind of have like a music teacher demeanor that's maybe a little bit over the top versus like how I normally would talk to people, but it's because that's how I, you know, that's how I interact with children, and so that's like my normal thing, and I try to make sure that I'm really consistent. That also goes to be consistent in what the kids can expect as far as like expectations. So if one day something gets you in trouble and then the next day it's fine, that's gonna be super confusing. Make sure that you're very consistent with what is allowed and not allowed in your classroom so that the kids can know what is okay and not okay, because if they understand, they are more likely to do what you would like them to do, which is what we want. So make sure you're working on that. The next one is so underrated. I don't know why no one is talking about this, but it is the most important, and it is have fun with the children. Because you know what, when kids meet other kids, what do? They play games. they play sports, they play cards, they play together. When you meet someone new, think of like a relationships, even like whether it's a friend relationship or like a romantic relationship, you like go bowling, you go out to dinner, you talk, you watch movies, like you do things together. And specifically with kids, you typically play with them, you play games. So if you're in your classroom and you're playing games with your students, that's going to help you. That's going to help your students to feel connected to you, because you're literally playing with them. Like that is how they make friends, that is how they connect with people, and you are now connecting with them in the way that is the most authentic to them. So make sure that you play games with your students. If you are new to a school, I would seriously say spend a large part of your time playing games for the first like 2 months, maybe 3. That doesn't mean don't teach anything, but it does mean like spend a lot of time in that, because it's going to help build those organic relationships. You'll have those like fun moments that you and the kids both remember, and also it'll associate like, oh, music is fun because we play games, therefore Miss Davis is fun, therefore I like Miss Davis, and that also helps the kids to, you know, like you a little more. And the last thing that you need to remember is that it does take time, and it takes a lot longer for you than it will for the classroom teachers, because you don't see the kids as much and the classroom teachers spend all day long with them. So don't feel bad if the classroom teachers like know them a little better. Know that next year when they have their new teacher, you will know them better, because the longer you stay at a school, the easier it is, because the more you already know the kids. So it does take time. Do your best to, you know, facilitate that, but don't like super stress about it, because, you know, organic relationships do take time. So just, you know, be aware of that. All right, friends, so that is 7 things that you can do. Well, I guess it's really only 6, because that last one's not really like a practical tip, but I guess if we made it be patient, then it would be a practical tip. All right, number 7 is now be patient. So 7 ways that you can facilitate relationships with your kiddos. Really seriously spend a large part of the beginning of the year focusing on this, because it is the like key to everything. It is not the only thing. Like if you're looking at classroom management wise, this is not the only piece of the puzzle. It is a piece of the puzzle. It is an important piece of the puzzle, but it's not the only piece of the puzzle. So use these things. Also have all the other things in mind, which I will have either in a video that already came out or will come out, because I don't know when I'm gonna post this, because I wasn't actually planning on making it. But you know, sometimes I just do things because I feel like it. So there we are. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to know how you help build relationships with your kiddos when you have like 7,000 of them. So leave those ideas down in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.